Crew of one, it's my third trip into the building, second floor. The client on this project is a nonprofit based in Washington, D.C., mostly funded by the federal government. I'm shooting a couple of public service announcements for some local candidates that are running for office. This same production format is occurring throughout the United States with various local candidates, and these will be sent out to members and I believe also the general public through this 501c organization. I received framing examples and a lighting plot and background instructions from the head office, and basically got to follow this format so all their content matches throughout the country. There was some back and forth on the teleprompter. They asked me if I had one and could bring it, and they would have someone on site client side scroll it. So I brought it, got it all set up, and then they told me to pull it because they're not using those throughout the country and they want consistency and don't want like one candidate to have like an unfair advantage. So white seamless backdrop. I had an existing roll, so I didn't have to purchase for the shoot. 2 panels to bring up the level on the white paper, and then I have my 2 Geminis for key and fill, equal level, flat lighting. I get these lighting plots and they do not want backlight, and I really thought this one could utilize some separation. The subjects just looks, I don't know, I feel like it just looks kind of unprofessional and lacks depth and dimension when you don't have a little bit of separation on the shoulders. You know, I understand people don't want like intense, toppy, theatrical style lighting, and I'm not trying to achieve that, but you know, just a little wrap on the shoulders. But anyway, following orders on this one, easy money, and it was 25 minutes from my front door. Getting to the end of my 3rd summer as a resident here in Texas, and this year was unseasonably hot. We've had 100-degree days pretty much since May. We only had a couple of breaks where you might have a day where it's like high 80s, and then it's right back to peaking out at around 100 in the afternoon. So now that it's cooling down, I'm going to start making some improvements to the van in my time off. So first up, I'm going to start with something simple. This is my platform at the back of the van, which is made out of 1/2-inch ply. And I've had the mattress out for, I think it's been a couple months now, but I'm going to put it back in for a travel job next week. I just have one day in Houston, which is about a 3.5-hour drive. And I think I'm just going to drive in the evening before, get in around 9 or 10 p.m. and just crash out in the van at a truck stop. Because it's not in the budget for me to, I'm working as a local essentially. I can't, on this one, expense back a hotel room, and it's cool enough now. I'll get a good night's sleep here, back here. Provided, I want to clean this up a little bit since I've had gear running up here, so I'm going to go to the store and pick up some gray carpet and glue, and I'm just going to line the top side of these 2 sheets with carpet. I think I'm going to leave this edge exposed wood so I don't have to cut these down, but I will wrap the carpet around this front face and take it to all the way to this divider. It's about 8 inches. It's been 15 years since I've worked with carpet glue, and I forgot just how sticky and bubblegum-like it is to work. I got it all over the concrete floor and my nice gym shoes. But the finished product looks good. This was day 1. I let this cure overnight, and then on day 2 I did the edges of the ply, folded the carpet over, and trimmed it with a blade. So when I originally designed this van and built out this rear partition, my thinking was dedicated for camera and basic interview lighting. I did not want to carry heavy grip, no C-stands, and reality defeated me here. It's inevitable. I got to carry like 4 C-stands. So this half-high vertical plywood wall prevents me from transporting the C-stands with the heads and arms attached. So I was looking at it here thinking maybe I can notch out an opening where the stands will poke through into my over my cooler refrigerator area, but the vertical height's not there. I need like 2 more inches. So I'm kind of stuck here. I could float that ply partition forward, but then I'd have to reduce the size of my countertop or get rid of the fridge. I don't really want to do either of those things. Too much work. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. For now, I'll just leave it as is. But I am thinking I'm going to make this lower area dedicated for grip and lighting and carts. And then up top here, switch out my queen size mattress for a twin on the forward end. And then the back half will be for camera, lighter weight camera items, camera bodies, lenses, and I'm thinking I'll make some removable wooden shelves up there and an additional vertical partition that's bolted in, so in an accident or emergency braking, things aren't going to fly forward. If you refer back to my previous video, I built a third tripod hanger on my steel tool chest. Here's the fabrication process with some 1/8 inch mild steel. It's 1.5 inches wide. And my ugly welding skills with a stick welder, but it's nice and solid. Won't have any problems with the tripod falling off. I think I'm going to paint this hook with orange paint, high-vis paint, because when the tripod's not on there, it's kind of a gouge risk. 9:30 a.m. Houston, Texas. Just finished up breakfast, have a 10 a.m. call time. Drove in last night and stayed at a truck stop. Got a great night's sleep. It was 88 degrees when I arrived, and when I got up this morning it was 67. This is only the third day this year, or this fall, that it's actually been cool and comfortable at night. I believe we had a 115-day run where it got up above 90 every single day in South Texas. So I get the camera prepped, corporate documentary today. We get 2 structured sit-down interviews, and then we're going to shoot some B-roll following a realtor around to a couple of listings. So it's like a realtor and a mortgage lender. Here are the 2 perspectives of home buying. This is for a banking corporate conference roll-in package that'll run at the show. So I've got the wireless Go Lav installed, prepped, tested. I got the on-camera mic to channel 2, and I believe we're doing B-roll first, handheld, and then we'll do sit-down interviews. I think the realtor's going to be at a realtor's office and the mortgage lender at a different office. I've got a 10-minute drive to location, but before I do that, I'll show you, I got my third tripod mount installed. So now I have Sachtler 12, 15, 18 on board on the truck, ready to shoot with 3 cameras. And at the moment I do have 3 cameras on board, 2 FX9s. We'll hold for the sirens. 2 FX9s, and I've got the Blackmagic P6K. But today the plan is single cam. I've got an assistant today, and then there's a field producer. All right, so we shot out a series of B-roll exterior and interior of a local bank branch with some happy people, customers, employees, and the realtor. This is a sit down with the realtor interview. I had our talent mic'd up with the Rode mic for the B-roll, just in case we got any ambient, and we tried experimenting with some of the interview questions, just kind of on the fly. Style shirt she had on, I had to hide the lav mic, tape it on the inside, and it fell at some point. So for the sit-down interview, I switched over to the boom, and I always prefer to go with the boom anyway, especially in a big ambient space like this. So this is kind of my standard van package interview setup. I put a 5-in-1 reflector overhead, white facing down. That's to cut all of the ambient lighting that I don't have control of from top lighting, down lighting my subjects. And then I armed out a small light panel for just a little bit of backlight. Trying to get a little bit of shoulder wrap and then just a little hint on the top of her head. Purely going for separation here from the background, just to give her a little bit of depth and dimension. Shot this whole project, it was just one day, but on the kit zoom, 28 to 135. F4 the whole time, using the variable ND. And I actually ran the interview F4, but in high ISO mode, because we're shooting logs. So I had to pick, ISO 800 or 4000 as my base. And then I wanted a 4, and 800 was too dark for the ambient lighting in the room. So that's why we went 4000 with some variable ND. Granny driving there, she's on a tear.
Yeah.
So for Granny.